Alright, I think we're streaming live. Woot! So I am just going to be packing up a set of wings and, there we go. Alright, just setting up, because don't schedule, just post. So, alright, theoretically this is live. If you can hear or see me, please let me know in the chat. So I'm just going to be putting together a set of wings. I've got a couple little things to futz with, but otherwise, pretty much they're ready to go. So I'm going to be packing them up. I was planning on packing them and then shipping them before this stream, but that didn't happen because I slow. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's see the disaster that is my workshop. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just leave it in the, let me get back to YouTube here. Leave it in the chat, and I will answer as I come over here and check. If I were my scissors. Alright. No questions? Not a one question? Not a single question? Oh. Can you get to watch me pack up a set of wings? That should be exciting. Note the seething sarcasm. Very rarely get ones this teeny. These ones are actually pretty rare. You can actually you can ship them all assembled. Usually I have to tear them to pieces. Especially like the biggest ones, they can barely fit in this box. 16 footers. Those will make it in, but it's a struggle. Two. Alright, I see a question. Alright, so is there a big difference weight-wise between using the 16th aluminum in 1/8? There is. Like, and you can even feel it. Like me, I'll be, grabbing the bars, and sometimes they get a little mixed up, and I'll be like, oh, that's a 1/8. It's not maybe significant enough that on your back it's gonna mean more than a pound or two, but it's a pound or two. Like anywhere you can cut. So, can't seem to get the 1/16 for some reason. That's weird. I don't know what to tell you. You can, like, if you have to, you can use that. Or, like, how big a set are you making? Because if you're making a smaller set, you could probably even get away with, like, a C-channel or another type of aluminum. So, there's that. For the first feather, can you show how you double bolt it? I feel like the 2 loops I made are really messy. Oh, so you don't make 2 loops, you make 1 loop. I wonder if you can see it on this set. Yeah, I can't see it. Okay, so basically along your bar you have a bolt at the end that, well, almost at the end, that is like where you have the loop for your first feather, and then the second bolt is kind of at the bottom of your bar and way at the end. You're not making a second loop for it. You're just putting a washer and a bolt there for it to like rest on. Technically, you could pop it up and out, but I tape everything down afterwards. Yeah, making a second loop is a bitch. You're right. So don't do that. You could just, like, basically it's resting on that top one. It's not necessarily like bolted down. It's not going through a second loop. 12 foot. You might be able to get away with a C-channel. 12 foot's starting to push how heavy. Like, that's when it starts to get heavy. Like, 10 foot and under, you could probably get away with a C-channel. 12 foot starting to get to the point where you do want probably the square aluminum tubing, just because of that added weight. I don't know. It's up to you. It's only going to add a pound or two. I don't know how beefy you are. I don't have too much trouble with the 12-foot sets, so I can do a 14-foot set and be okay. So my boyfriend said it's fine and won't listen to me. Well, then dump him. He has one job, and that is to listen to you. You can use it. It's just going to be heavier. It's going to be heavier by a couple of pounds. Will that couple of pounds matter? Depends. A 12-foot set, the ones I make, run around 25 pounds. So it's going to be 6 or 7 pounds now instead. Which is, not insignificant, but I don't know. I don't know how strong you are. Hold on, I gotta get a bag. I'm gonna put this in the trash bag. Protect the pristine white feathers. Let's see, I'm gonna need bubble wrap. Tiny. Yeah, do squats. That always helps. leave it a bit unfolded. Will this fit? That is brilliant. I want the main quills hitting the ground because they're, unfortunately, I can't get this in there. But I want to protect them. Alright. I guess I'll just wrap it. Especially just the top. I'm trying. Usually, when I separate the wings, I can. Separate them for packing. I can kind of get away with putting each wing in their own bag. And they're together. Now, for a mountain of bubble wrap. Alright, what do we got? I've shaped my feathers so that there isn't any space visible between them. It makes for a nice silhouette. The more I look at your sets, the more I notice how much you can see each individual feather. So now I'm wondering if I need to go back and make my feathers skinnier. Yeah, air compressor. So no, if you like that, so for the most part, it depends on the angle. The reason in some of mine you can see between the feathers is because, especially from the side, the way they're strung like a fan, and they're like each feather is like pivoted, and so like from the side you can see the spaces between them, and that's so that they lay over one another. But if you like them wider, I mean, it's so long as you like them and it looks good, it doesn't matter. Especially on my smaller sets, I will make my feathers wider. It's kind of one of those scale things. As soon as I scale up, like I can only make the feathers so wide before they kind of get floppy. And so I have a tendency to make mine about this thick regardless of the size. Like that's about the biggest they get, except for like at the very top I really work at making them a little bit bigger, but then you have to add more glue and all this stuff to make them stiffer. And because I'm trying to reduce weight, like, so those are the considerations, not the look. Honestly, if it weren't for the weight issue, I probably would, and the time issue, I probably would make mine wider, so don't worry about that. I don't like the gaps, so if you can get rid of them, go for it. Smallish 10-foot set. Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, is your design. Like, if you're going for a cute character, you're going to want them to be a more proportionally large feather and wider. If you're going for, like, a badass character, I would recommend thinning them out just a little bit. If they're overlapping by a ton when they're fully open. Mine overlap by, at the very top, obviously, maybe an inch on either side for the at max. So if, yeah, depending on what kind of character you have, I'd go with that. It feels so warm in here, but it's not. I'm going to put my windows and put them open so you can see. It's a fluffy character. Well, then you probably want wider. It isn't going to hurt you, probably. Oops. Nope. Stop. Alright. My friend was going to come over. We were going to do a fitting, but I forgot it at home. About to finally get the sleeve on in the next few days. Is there a way I can leave my fluffies pretty strong? You can. You're going to use a lot more of them, and it's going to cost a lot more money. But there's nothing stopping you from just sewing that line on, technically. Except for, you know, budget. Like, you're going to spend 4 times as much on those feathers if you keep them strong. I'm just saying. Seems like a definite way to, I think you mean sew your fingers if you have individual clumps of feathers. Or see, you mean see the, I'm confused. Lucked out and got a huge amount for super cheap. I mean, you can just, like, pin it on, maybe, and see how it looks, and see how, if you need any more, then go for it, I guess. It's up to you. There's nothing stopping you. It's just, I mean, for me, I'm trying to keep them as cheap as possible. They are already stupid expensive. Like, no reason to spend more. Why would you say would be a good estimate of time to complete my wings? I have lots of time, but trying to get an idea, spending about 8 hours a week on them. For my first go, it took me, I think, about 120 hours on this kind of set, though I was airbrushing and doing a bunch of other things too. So I would say I would budget 80 to 100 hours for your first set. Once you make one, like, you get better at them. I spend between 60 and 80 hours on a regular set, so that's probably a minimum. But I don't know. I'm also answering emails and doing other stuff, so maybe my time's off. But yeah, they take a while, and there's a learning curve. So, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you just pin it, like, that's probably going to be easier for you. You're going to have the quill issue, like, you'll see the quills more, because you're not snipping that part off. And I think it's gross, but, I mean, not gross. They just don't look as good. They're going to be denser and fluffier, but if it's a fluffy character, that's probably good. You're going to see each line of feathers easier because there's so many clumped together in one spot. So you're going to have, like, lines and rows of feathers. But I've had a couple customers do that and like it. So, you've been screwing around with yours since February. Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, just pin it and make sure you have enough. That's the main thing. If you have enough feathers to do it, you know, give it a try. Worst case scenario, honestly, stay stitch it down first and see what one sleeve looks like. And then if you don't like it, you can rip it out and do it my way, too. Feel like you could do a second in a month after Steve. Yeah, and that's just it. Like, I've done these. I've made a set in 1 week, like, crammed one into 1 week. I mean, I'm not doing anything else, mind you. So I've crammed them into, you know, 60 hours. But I know what I'm doing now, so. What else did I need to do? I need to put the... I forgot to unplug the battery. That's important. And new charger. And then clickers. Remote. That's about all. Remember. No problem. Okay, that's probably not going to hold, but it's fine. Alright. And then to use all of the bubble wrap on one set of things. Bubble wrap. I do not want these. Ugh. I want to have these all folded up, so like the tips of the feathers aren't really in too much danger of being damaged, but because these are let's try that first. Let's peel this backwards first. I have crumpled paper. You guys can keep asking questions if you want. You have this. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. That's better. Alright. Alright. She's packed up and ready to go. Oh. Still one person watching. Actually, I don't know. Is there still one person watching? Message back if you're still watching. Doesn't let me actually look at who's here. Oh well. I will keep streaming for now. And let me know if you have any other questions. It is almost at the half-hour mark, though. So, I may... Yes, reply. So... I want to do more streams with you guys. I just have to... I'm glad that my phone hasn't cut out, because last time it was just madness trying to get it to work. Alright, well, I'm gonna do this first. Ooh. That'll be it. Whoops. Guess while I'm waiting, I will print a label. Print shipping. I wonder if it'll let me print it twice, because this person ordered 2 things. Okay, good. It is gonna let me. Package. Package, wait. Forward. They're so tiny! 18 pounds. I always round up just in case. 19. Well, I guess I'll do 18.5 because, and 8 ounces. Yeah, we'll say 8 ounces. Just give us a little wiggle room. Because you never know. Sometimes the guy measuring everything and checking everything is an asshole. Tracking included, insurance. Mailing date is today. That is so weird. So I shipped a package yesterday. Same guy. Because he ordered 2. He wanted them for Halloween, and I figured I'd just ship it as soon as I finished. So I just finished this guy a day later. And weirdly enough, the shipping is more for this one, even though it weighs less. It's the same size box. Weird. Alright. Print and Z. Because that one was 23 pounds. Whatever. Alright, is my printer on? Of course not. Give it a minute. Alright, well, I guess if there are no more questions, then I am going to sign off for today. Oh, crap. And I may throw up another stream later. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I will see you next time.